Sharing the screen. Okay. Let's make this a bit bigger. Okay. Our letter of advice. Bigger. All right. So we're going to write a letter of advice, and it's going to be about cyberbullying. We're writing to someone that is being bullied. Okay. This isn't actually the best view, I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm going to actually pull it up from my little, we'll have better resolution. Find file. Oh, super, great. Great. Share the screen again. Okay, here we are. Let's hide that, sidebar. All right, here we go, guys. So, we're writing a letter of advice. Letter of advice. It's different from a letter to the editor, okay? In a letter to the editor, it's a public letter, and we're writing our opinions. A letter of advice is usually a private letter, and we're trying to help someone. What is cyberbullying? That's an important thing to define in our letter. 4 pieces of advice, wow, to a victim of cyberbullying. Okay. Victim is a person. If you want, repeat after me, victim. Victim is a person. So we're trying to help the person. We're trying to provide 4 ways to help the person. And then on page 65, we see a sample letter. Now we're going to take a look at some of the features. One, we have a greeting. 2, be nice to the person you're writing to. 3, describe the problem and solution. Okay. So if we're going to write about cyberbullying, 1, we have to think about who we're writing to. And since the textbook doesn't tell us who to write to, we have to think of a person. 2, we need to be kind to the person. 3, we need to describe 4 of the problems of cyberbullying and then the solutions. Any questions at this point? Anything at all? Okay, so let's actually take a look at some other or other letters of advice. Okay. So this is another letter of advice sample. It's on page 60. And you see here, again, we have a greeting. And then we have an opening paragraph where we are kind to the person, the recipient. Then we need to discuss aspects of the problem and possible solutions. And you see in all of these letters, we have 4 aspects of the problem and 4 possible solutions. So ultimately, we have 5 paragraphs. We have a greeting, with paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, well, I guess there's a 6th paragraph too, a concluding paragraph, which again, you have encouraging words. Let's just take a look at one more, and then we'll start planning. This is on page, okay, this is page 51, yeah, or page 50. We already saw this, and we see again, we see the greeting. We see the kind words. We start describing the problem, 4 parts of the problem. And then we have some encouraging words. And then we close. And because this is a private letter, it's informal, you can write silly things like this. Good luck. Okay, any questions? All right, so let's open Google Docs first. Can you share your Google Docs with me, please? And then we can start brainstorming. What are some problems associated with cyberbullying, and what can we do to solve them? Let's go over here. Okay, and let me share this with you. Actually, you guys can edit it too, I don't mind. Okay. Let's check window up. Okay, try that. All right. So let's make a table. Brainstorming now. Aspects of cyberbullying. And solution. Okay. Let's actually, what is cyberbullying? It is a specific example of cyberbullying. What is the solution? Okay. Angelica, you're going to think of something. This is your row. Benson, you're going to think of one example. And who we have here? Ken and Chow. You have one example. Moon, you have one example. Fancy, you have one example. And Dr. Wu will have one example too. Okay, so our job is to think about what is an example of cyberbullying and what can we do to solve the problem. Going back to the textbook and the original prompt, this is the most important question. What is cyberbullying? What counts as cyberbullying? We can't give advice unless we actually know what cyberbullying is. So you might want to do some research now and think of an example of cyberbullying and then what we can do to stop it. I'll give you a clear example too. So an example of cyberbullying is a student shouting at another student during an online lesson. Student makes fun of the other students for speaking during an online lesson. These are actually very real examples. A student shouts at another student during an online lesson. A student makes fun of another student for speaking during a Zoom lesson. Let's see. Student. Let's not use the word tease. We need to be very specific about the actions. Dares another student to speak. Speak. Okay. So guys, if you access this Google Doc, you can actually fill in your table. Right? We're brainstorming right now. So please fill in your row. You're brainstorming aspects of cyberbullying. Okay, Benson, that's a good idea. Now, can you be more specific? What is the abuse? How to abuse? So the more detailed you can be, the more detailed your solution can be. Do you see Dr. Wu's examples? A student shouts at another student. So we see who, we see what, we see where, okay? Okay, yes. So give us a little more detail, Benson. Who says to whom that the person is ugly or mean? Where? That's really important. See, Dr. Wu was saying Zoom lesson, for instance. But cyberbullying can happen in other places too besides a Zoom lesson. I'm just saying Zoom lesson. It doesn't have to be students, but I'm saying students. So you're almost there, Benson. Who says to whom the person is ugly or mean? Where? Does cyberbullying happen on Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp, or that could happen on WhatsApp too? Angelica, do you need any help?
No.
Okay, so again, you're welcome to join. Think of an aspect of cyberbullying and please fill in your row. Ken, what do you think? Okay, good. Now, Benson, you're almost there. Okay, so there are many ways, Benson. There are many ways to say something on Facebook. Which way? Again, can you be more specific? Through a private message? Private message, Facebook post, Facebook comments, right? So Benson, you're almost there. There are many ways to say someone is ugly. You can directly send them a message. You can post it in Facebook. You can comment in Facebook. So I think, Benson, you're ready to write. Okay, Pensy, you have to be more specific. How does the student insult another student? What does the student say? Where does the student say it? If you say the internet is everything, Pensy. Is it Instagram? Is it Zoom lesson? Is it a Facebook post? Can you be more specific, Pensy? Where on the internet? Okay. Okay, good. All right. Okay. Okay. Now let's take a look. Yes, good, Angelica. Now, how does this actually happen? I'm looking at Angelica's comment right now. Usually how this happens is someone posts a picture and then someone else comments on the picture. That's actually where body shaming happens. So maybe, Angelica, you can be a bit more specific. Someone posts a body shaming comment on a person's Instagram post. So let's say a person posts a picture of herself or himself on Instagram, and then someone else posts a body shaming comment. If you could be even more specific about what kind of comment that is, that's great. Now, Angelica, think about your solution too. If you can be more specific, then people might actually be able to do it. So who normalizes what for whom? Okay, so we need to be a bit more specific, be very practical. What is the practical solution? Yes, okay, Moon, that's great. Yeah, a student sending mean text to someone in WhatsApp. Okay, I'm putting that here, Moon, for you. But what is the mean thing? Like, what actually is in the text? What are the mean things in the text? What are the mean things in the text? Okay, Pansy, that's great. Okay. So, Pansy, a good one is like maybe a student says that another student is a fool in a comment on Instagram. Again, you have to say where, because people, there are many ways to communicate on Instagram. You can send a direct message or you can comment. So you have to be really specific. Comment on Instagram or direct message. Again, there are many ways to actually do this. You can make a story to body shame. I mean, so there's so many ways. Can you be more specific about what's happening on Instagram? There's so many ways that you can insult someone or shame someone on Instagram. So let's be a bit more specific. Okay. So a student can make an Instagram post where the post insults another student. Okay, that's good. All right. So you might want to fill that in. And then let's think about some solutions too. Again, we have to be very specific. The teacher doesn't do so already. Teacher doesn't do so on his own. So, the teacher to please mute the disruptive students. Teacher doesn't do so. You may either want to insult the offending student. Doesn't Yes, good enough. Okay, Moon, can you fill in your student sending? Student telling another fact. Student calling student too short, too fat in WhatsApp texts. Is it in a WhatsApp group or just a one-on-one text mode? Group, WhatsApp group or WhatsApp group or WhatsApp direct message mode? Okay. WhatsApp direct messages. Okay, so now we're actually being very specific about aspects of the problem. Here we are. Just going to highlight that. Instagram post. Okay. WhatsApp direct messages. Zoom lesson. Now we're being very specific. Okay. I'm going to put that there. And let's see. Fancy and Ken, where are you? Let's see. Cool. Okay. And Instagram post. Okay. And then Ken, where are you? Student. Now Ken, what's whoop? What is whoop? A student? This, again, a student what? Where? Where on the internet, Ken? Okay, so let's think about the practical solutions. And the practical solutions, boys and girls, should be as specific as your problems. Okay, so like for instance, if I just highlight this in orange now, maybe you can be a bit more specific here, Angelica. Who are these people? Are they strangers? Are they friends? Are they people from the same school? So we get an idea of who the people are. Right? Ultimately, we're writing a letter. Oh, sorry. We're writing a letter of advice to someone who is a victim of cyberbullying. And so we have to figure out who is that someone. Okay, so I'm just going to write this down. Who is that someone? Who are the cyberbullies? Cyberbullies. Okay, so we have to define these. Right? Who is the victim? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right, Benson. Okay. Okay, Benson, write that down. That's great. Write that down. Okay, be specific about who, and be specific about who in the solution. Not only the problem, but the solution. If the, so let's think of some specific solutions, and let's write them down. Okay, so I'm just highlighting specific actions now. What are the verbs? Are the actions? Okay, Benson, just write that down. Okay, yeah, that's great, Pensy. Okay. You have one thing here. Got another one here, Pensy. Just make that black. That's great, Pensy. You're doing a great job. Some students. Okay, here we go. Some students, they send. Okay, they send and they send Instagram messages. Okay. And they laugh. Okay. And they laugh at a fat student. Okay. Here we are. That's great. All right. That's very clear. Now, what are the solutions, Pensy? Let's go. How do we solve these problems? Pensy, be specific and practical. Talk about what the students can do. Write sentences. Try not to use too much Google Translate. Just write simple sentences. Now, Ken, I still don't understand this. I'm looking at what you've written here. I don't, okay, so posted a selfie. I actually don't understand what you mean. You have to write a sentence. Okay, a student or some students? I'm confused. Okay, some students or a student posted a selfie of what? What is being abused? Again, I don't actually understand what's happening here. So you need to write a sentence so I can understand. Okay. Okay. So, Benson, I'm going back to yours. The student should. Okay, so we're referring to this one, the ugly classmate. I'm going to make this a different color. I'm just going to make this like, let's say, this color. The ugly classmate. Okay, the student, the ugly classmate, should tell the teacher. Okay. Should tell the teacher. Okay, the teacher. And stay away. Stay away, yeah, stay away from. Who? The student who insulted him. Okay. The student. I'm going to make this a different color so you can see. It's not easy. It's a bit complex. Okay. Okay. Blacklist. Now, Moon, what does blacklist actually mean? This is, again, you have to be more practical. Be specific and be practical. What is a specific and practical solution. There's no point in giving advice, guys, if people can't do it, right? The whole point of letter of advice is you want to help someone. So you can help them by being very specific and very practical. Okay, you can write sentences too. Pensy, the student can tell teachers or parents, and how else can they seek help? You need to be specific, Pensy. Good, Angelica. Tell us about who. Who does what? Okay, good. Okay. Now, how, Angelica? Tell the cyberbully in the comments, like comment or direct message, or in real life, face to face. I like your second point. You can block them. Good. So my question is how to tell them. How to tell them. How? Where? This is good. Block. Good. Just don't look at the comments. That's a great idea. Just don't read the comments, guys. That's a great idea. Don't read comments. Ken, Moon, Pensy, if you can, please fill in the specific and practical solution on this Google Doc. I'm going to go back to the structure. Okay. Okay. So here's some things that are common language features. One, modal verbs. We had used modal verbs and we had learned about them, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. Must, should, might, etc. We used connectives like because and so. It's because, so. These are similar to what we actually did last week with the letter to the editor. You can ask questions if you want. You can write in the second person. Right? That means give instructions. Give instructions. You give instructions. Okay. You might want to write if sentences. So you have two types of conditional sentences. I think we went over that. We went over that. Sit here in our classroom. Oh yeah, we went over first and second conditionals here. So we have modal verbs here to express advice. We have first and second conditionals, and we have connectives here. So if you want to review that stuff, it's over there. And we have it here, modal verbs, connectives, conditionals. Let's actually try this right now. Clear this. Okay, so let's find two examples of modal verbs on this page. Let's start with Angelica. Let's try to find two examples of modal verbs. Angelica and Benson. Try to find two examples of modal verbs. I'll give you one. Would. Would feel. Okay. You can annotate too. Angelica, any example? On page 60. Must, okay. Which paragraph and which line, Benson? Line 5, okay, okay, great, super. So you see this, must feel, all right. Angelica, anything? There's another one. Should brush might want shouldn't friends would. Yeah, that's right. Shouldn't I? Which paragraph and which line, Angelica? Must explain. Line 16. 5. Yeah, shouldn't. Okay, yeah. Should friend. Yeah. Should create. Can invite. Okay. Oh, can help. Okay, so there are a lot of modal verbs here. Wow. Actually, too many modal verbs. Let's go to connectives. So what are some examples of connectives here? Ken and moon. What are some examples? Here's a connective, and it's not a connective of reason or results, but still a connective. Yeah. But, yeah. Yeah. But, now, it's curious, unfortunately, that we don't see a lot of because, so, as, since, therefore, as a result, thus, in this way. We actually don't see that here in this sample, unfortunately. But I think those are actually really useful connectives to use. Let's see if we find any here. Oh, I see so here. Oh, here we go. We see so that here. See a connective of results here. See so that. See but. That's not connective reason results. Oh, we see so. Okay, as a result. Okay, good. So we see a few more connectives here of reason and results. Let's finally take a look at the reading passage here. Actually, it's the same thing. Okay, let's do one more, just the final thing. Sorry about that. Okay. So we've already highlighted some questions, imperatives. We see conditional sentences here. See some if sentences here. Right. If, it's the second conditional. If, this is first conditional. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so this is what we're doing tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will start writing sentences and the body paragraphs. So we're going to take this stuff here and we will write sentences if we haven't done so already. And then we'll start writing paragraphs. Can you meet at 3 o'clock tomorrow? Meet at Okay, thank you. So I'm going to stop the recording. You might want to fill this in, Ken, Moon, and Pensy. And then tomorrow we'll start taking these ideas and we'll start writing these body paragraphs.